Sure. Wait, what was the question? You think I'm drunk, but I'm not. I can perfectly walk on the line. Well, okay, a wobbly one. Okay, let's have a party at my house. Actually, wait a minute. I don't have a house. What about your house then?
Yes?
For I love you!
My boys will keep you safe. Don't you worry.
You're the best! Can you be my father?
Person to be my wife or possibly husband.
It's a shame, isn't it? The Gildergreen, yes. It's a bit of an eyesore at the moment. More of a problem for the pilgrims than for me, but not many of them around anymore. To the east of here is a hidden grove where the Eldergleam resides. It's the oldest living thing in Skyrim, maybe all of Tamriel. Our tree here in the city was grown from a cutting of that tree. You can still feel the glory of the mother tree through it. Even its name is an echo. I've thought about that. Trees like this never really die, they only slumber. I think if we had some of the sap from the parent tree, we could wake up its child. But even if you could get to the Eldergleam, you couldn't tap it. Not with any normal metal.
What do you mean I'm drunk?
If you want to help, you'll need something to cut into it first.
Lies, I tell
You'll have to deal with the Hagravens. I've heard about the weapon they've made for sacrificing Spriggans. It's called Nettlebane. The hags terrify me, or I would have gone after it myself. Your spirit is strong. Kinnereth's winds will guide your path. It's held in a Hagraven nest called Orphan Rock.
What is it? Yes, let's go. You know what we should do? We should get drunk and have a big
I ain't
sing-song.
done nothing.
No,
Sure,
we
whatever.
could sing songs. Yes, that would be fun.
Are you married? You look the type. Make sure you treat your wife with the respect she deserves.
Come to chat with an old woman, hmm? Do your good deed for the day. Do you like horses? You should
Do you get to
visit
the Cloud
stables.
District very often?
I own them.
What am I saying? Of course
And
you
our
don't.
stock is
You
excellent.
should go to the temple and see a healer right away. It can't be healthy having your head stuck so far up your own backside.
I don't have to take that from you.
Bits and baubles for sale.
Finest cuts, fresh from the wilds.
By the best
Oh yes. Hunting is my great passion. That's why my brother and I opened a shop to sell hunting supplies. It's the Drunken Huntsman, down by the main gate. He tends the store, and I've got this stall. Take a look.
Shiny trinkets for your good lady, all crafted by the great Aeolus, himself.
Good hunting.
My friend Maven and I. Have you met Maven in Riften? We know our places.
Once I've made enough money trading with the Khajiit caravans, I'm going to buy the bannered mare from
Hello,
Hulda.
friend. That bard Mikhail is begging for a dagger up against his throat, the way he goes on about me. I heard him boasting at the bannered mare, saying he'll conquer me as a true Nord conquers any harsh beast. Huh.
Farewell.
If you want to try, go right ahead. I don't think anything will get through that thick skull of his, though.
All crafted by the best blacksmith in Skyrim.
You've got no idea. Half the men in Whiterun have proposed to me. Some were even single. They'll never understand. No amount of flowers or honeyed words are going to change my mind. Right now, all that matters is my daughter Mila. No man's going to get between me and my little girl.
Shiny trinkets for
Take a look.
your lady, all crafted by the great Aeolus,
Take care of yourself.
himself.
Chops and steaks fit for a Jarl. Come and see my selection of the finest quality meats.
Got a pretty full stock of potions and alchemy reagents. Pardon me, but do I detect a case of the rattles? I've got something for that. I have several elixirs for sale. Ah, splendid, splendid. It's for a special brew I'm working on. A love elixir like none other. Maybe I'll test it on Farengar first. Oh, but I suppose you expect some compensation. Here. These potions should suffice. Of a sort. I don't have formal training in the Restoration School, but something just as good. Within these walls, I have all that I need to brew a potion for nearly any ailment. If I had a septum for every case of rock joint or whitbane I've cured since I opened this shop, I'd be a rich woman indeed. Why? Because I'm a proud citizen of the Empire? Because the Stormcloaks only want Nords in Skyrim? The Stormcloaks can rot in oblivion for all I care. I've lived in this city for 20 years. 20! So you're interested in my potions and ingredients? Be careful out there. Fresh-baked loaves.
Don't mean to be rude, but I'm too busy to talk right now.
Come to Olava for a reading, did you? Sorry, pup, but I'm not quite in the mood. Oh, I tell the future all right, when I feel up to the task, that is. But I'm afraid my energies haven't quite peaked yet.
What are you, boys,
Give it another
girls,
8 years or
dogs,
so, and we will
elders?
see who is afraid.
Nobody. I don't have to take that from you.
Got something for just about everybody in here. Give a holler if you have any questions.
Blade and shadow, silence and death.
So,
These are my
is
arts.
it true what they sing
For a
about
modest
you?
fee, I'll make
Perhaps you
great
could show
art
me
for
what
you.
really happens when a Dragonborn comes?
I know nothing of fear, and nothing of remorse. Pay my fee, and together we will vanquish any foe. I am an artisan, painting in strokes of blood red upon the canvas of life. But yes, I will take coin to fight at your side. After all, where is the value in creating art if there is nobody left alive to see it? If you change your mind, seek me out here.
If you have need of hunting supplies, then you've come to the right place. Hello, friend. In the market for some hunting supplies? Yes, I hear that question often. My brother Honorius and I came up with it one night after consuming rather too much mead. After our drinks, we went out for a moonlight hunt. We got separated, and in his drunken state, my brother mistook me for a deer. He shot an arrow that pierced my, well, rump. After such a memorable adventure, we knew we had the name for our shop. Try Hulda, the innkeeper at the Bannered Mare. It's just up the road near the market. You should check in at Dragon's Reach too. There's so much going on these days. The Jarl or his steward might have need of help. An archer, huh? I've got just what you need. Thank you very much for your business.
Come by Bellathor's shop at the market. I'm sure we've got something.
Got some good pieces out here if you're looking to buy. More inside. Aye, that I do. I've got to, if I hope to be as good as Yorland Greymane someday. In fact, I just finished my best piece of work. It's a sword. I made it for the Jarl, Balgroof the Greater. It's a surprise. I don't even know if he'll accept it, but... Listen, could you take the sword to my father, Proventus Avenici? He's the Jarl's steward. He'll know the right time to present it to him. Thanks. Plenty. I'd say we're prosperous enough. Most folk don't go hungry, if they're willing to work hard. The city's ruled by the Jarl up in Dragon's Reach. That's the fortress there, up on the tall hill. But you're probably more interested in your Vasker, Mead Hall of the Companions. Their deeds of war and valor are legendary. Take a look. Don't forget to check inside the shop if you need anything. Got some good pieces out here if you're looking to buy. More inside.
Take a good look around. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for. If not, let me know. I might have it stored away. Welcome to War Maidens. Now don't let the name worry you. We got plenty of steel for fighting men. Adrienne, at her forge, just outside. Place is named after her. War Maidens. It's a childhood nickname given by her father. What I hear, she was playing with swords even back then. Anyway, our wares are strong and the price is fair. What else matters? That'll be the Jarl, Balgroof the Greater. He's an honorable enough man. Never done wrong by me or my kin. Things are tough for him now, I'd wager. What with the fighting and the dragons. But Balgroof's a tough old Nord. He can handle it. Good doing business with you.
Cause trouble in Whiterun and I'll haul you into the Dragon's Reach dungeon myself.
Excuse me, but I'm trying to read. Nothing like a good adventure or romance to lose yourself in. The who? I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. Back to my book.
What are you looking at? I'm not afraid of you, you know, even if you are my elder.
If I had a child, I would get them to knock every single one of your teeth out.
I don't have to take this from the likes of you.
I am
Tell me, do you believe in mighty Arche, god of life and death? I see. Well, perhaps you'll take pity on a humble priest who has lost something precious. My amulet of Arche. It's the source of my divine powers and also a sacred badge of office. I misplaced it in the catacombs. I'd look for it, but I have been hearing noises down there. I fear the dead have become restless. Without that amulet, I'm powerless to confront them. Would you be willing to search for it? I'll just wait here and make sure nothing foul escapes the catacombs. The blessing of Arche be upon you.
Come to chat with an old woman, hmm? Do your good deed.
So,
do you like horses? You should visit the stables. I own them, you see. And our stock is excellent.
Is there something I can do for you?
You feel better already.
No, I'm afraid I don't know anything of the sort. I'm on my way home, back to Hammerfell. How about you? Who are you? You look like an adventurous one. I might be able to help you. Then I'll wait.
So sick. Can hardly stand it.
Are you married? You look the type. Make sure you treat your wife with the respect she deserves.
I'm tired of bread and stew. Had enough of fish and fowl. Treat yourself and your kin to a choice cut of steak or pork.
come on in. Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
What can I do for you?
The security in Whiterun is terrible. Shameful is what it is. The guards in this city are all lazy and undisciplined. Things need to change. Stay out of trouble.
If it's a lady you're looking for, you best look elsewhere. Once Mikhail gets them, they're got. There's a whole college up in Solitude where they teach the arts. Song, lute playing, poetry. I studied there myself. Had to leave over a misunderstanding with a headmistress. Well, more a misunderstanding with her husband. Carlotta put you up to this, didn't she? I'm sorry, but that fiery widow is mine. She just doesn't know it yet. What did you just say? All I heard was a sound of jealousy. Bribing me? Well, a bard does need to eat. On my ancestors' honor, I won't trouble sweet Carlotta again. Some parting advice? This is an ode to Skyrim's staunch protectors.
Think you can go blade to blade with me? You'd be dead in 6 seconds. The heat of the battle is the fire that forges the strongest blades. It's an old Nord proverb. That, and a true Nord never misses a chance to test her worth. You've been talking to those companions? Too hot-headed, they cried. Weak, pathetic cowards, the lot of them. It wasn't my fault. I told them over and over that it was an accident. They wanted me to prove my worth. So they threw me up against a young whelp of a lad, hardly old enough to grow his first chin hairs. I guess they thought a woman wasn't strong enough to hurt him. I didn't mean for him to die. Why would I want that? I just lost control.
Of the scourge that has sullied our hopes and our dreams.
Good. Chat time's over.
If it's work you need, how about chopping up some wood for the fires? Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by and left this bounty letter. Need anything else? Just let me know.
Was there something you wanted? Sure. What's on your mind? I was playing two guys against each other in a bid to win me over. Of course, they had to supply me with plenty of drink and earn my affection. I just wanted some entertainment. Oh, it was great watching them get more and more competitive. It ended up in a massive brawl, and once it was over, I left them both empty-handed and out of pocket. As for waking up in a stable without any clothes on, I don't remember.
What's the matter? You can't stand beside
Good to see you. Really? You convinced that lute player to stop chasing me? I'd thank the gods, but I'll settle for thanking you. Here's some coin for your help. Take care of yourself.
Come to chat with an old woman? Do your good deeds.
No lollygagging.
What kind of a
Old
woman
friend.
do you think I am?
Patron of the great clan Battleborn.
What is it? Fine, but don't take advantage of me. At least not in that way. I'm glad that's sorted.
Rorikstead's a nice enough little hamlet, but a boring posting for a guard.
Good to see you.
Father says I'm too young to train with the sword, so I practice it.
I serve Jarl Balgruuf as steward. From Adrian? Ah, this must be that weapon for the Jarl. Poor girl. So eager to prove herself. I'll present it to Balgruuf when his mood is agreeable. Thank you. Please, take these few coins for services rendered. Enjoy your visit to Dragon's Reach.
Was there something you wanted? You can ask me anything. You mean like weird? Huh. I thought you were different from all those other people who make fun of me. Because I don't try and conform to people's ridiculous ideals. Yeah, I suppose. Being a free spirit like myself really lets you explore the world and see all its flaws, but yet at the same time makes you appreciate them. That's what some people who aren't like you just don't get. I'm glad that's sorted.
Absurd that you can't cook good sweet rolls. in the skeever hole of a city.
Tidings, weary traveler. These days it's not often I get approached, at least by other men. They call me Larkspur. That name should tell you anything you need to know, and everything you want to believe. Perhaps you may have heard vicious rumors regarding my appetite for women, and I assure you, they're all true. You may have heard I'm a nefarious rogue who robs and kills and beds your wife, but only if you're rich. And I assure you, I don't care whose wives I bed. You may have heard I'm taller than a giant and as ugly as a troll. And so, I submit to you my person as evidence, and you'll see that I'm chiseled like a sculpture, and that rumor is more mud than stone. That means my arrogance is well deserved. If I told you I was handsome but had the face of a billy, you'd probably laugh first and then pity me second. But I doubt you'd find me arrogant. Would you believe me if I said I came here for the company? Such a statement would be made in jest, of course, but not entirely false. I do indeed come here for the company, but only to mock it. Never. I wouldn't mock those whose predicaments once mirrored my own. I'm a bandit, a thief, which might strike you as odd, considering this dashing head of mine is still attached to its body. After all, in this land, only the rich get a trial, whether your capital is coin or politics. My pursuers couldn't execute me because I turned myself in. I turned myself in because the Jarl can't risk an execution. With the civil war going on, there's too much turmoil, and the Jarl knows his chair isn't exclusive to his bottom. To execute a bandit who sacks finely clothed men and spreads the coin among the people, well, that won't make that chair any more comfortable. Now that's a time I don't mind revisiting. They call me Poverty's Prince, which, like the king in rags, is both the title of disrespect and honor. Whether a person thought it one or the other could tell you all you needed to know about their station. I myself accepted it with great pride. Ha! A thief after my own heart. The truth is, I accepted the label of prince so readily because it meant I could keep more of the loot for myself. Don't get me wrong, we still gave a quarter of everything we swiped from those greedy merchants to those who were suffering. Yet, when I say I give most of what I steal to those who need it most, well, let's just say I decided I needed it more than anyone. You can call me a sap for not keeping all of it, but there are quite a few perks to be gained from fame. My mother. Truth is, I was a bandit before I was anything else. The bandit business was the family business, and I've been a no-good bandit since birth. My parents made it seem so romantic when I was a child. They would return and tell me tales of great beasts and come back with the skins as proof. Most of the time, they brought back books they stole from caravans. They wanted a different life for me, but they weren't naive. They also taught me the trade, how to knock an arrow, shoot a troll between the eyes, and harvest its fat. As you might expect, I was a natural. They taught me how to kill a man, too, where the weak points were in his body and mind. How a simple illusion spell can pierce harder than any blade. When I went out on my own, however, I soon learned that the life of a bandit was far from romantic. There was no sense to the carnage. It didn't matter if you were rich or poor, armed or defenseless. If you walked the road, you paid the toll. I agree, but you'll have a hard time convincing a bandit of his moral obligation. Gold is far more persuasive. It all changed when I read a book called The Beggar Prince, and I realized the beggars with eyes and ears on the streets were the key. I took what money I had and befriended them. I learned of the comings and goings of the city's wealthiest merchants and the mercs they hired. Soon, my whisperers included the townsfolk in the market district and the farmers who worked outside the castle walls. I knew what shipment was going out and when. I knew the men tasked to guard it. What time they woke up, their favorite drink, if they pissed in the river or liked to use a latrine. Gathering the muscle for the job was easy. Most bandits are too stupid to organize a guild, but they know the shiny things are worth a lot of coin. The whole thing made for good business, and after every successful raid, I made sure to fill the coffers of the lower district. That's how I became Poverty's Prince. I merely invested in the very beggars and workers that the wealthy try so hard to ignore. When the merchants found it too difficult to stop our raids, Alfred Battleborn used his considerable resources to threaten the people. He put the fear of the Daedra in the townsfolk, and the cost of information went up. Plus, the information we did get was unreliable. Alfred paid the beggars to misdirect us, or send us straight into ambushes. Say what you want about the Battleborns, but they're a clever group. Because I'm rather confident they want me in their bed. And why not? I'd go to bed with me, and I don't even like men. I'm even running out of lavender flowers to leave on their beds. It's my signature, you see. It gives them a token to remember me by, and it helps me from making the mistake of bedding the same woman twice. You make it sound like life is something complex. Life's about one thing, and one thing only. Boredom, or rather, escaping it. Everything we do is an attempt to fill that time. I choose to bed a lass. Another may choose to marry one. The difference between that man and me is the level of commitment. Not to the lass, mind you, but to time. To stay interested, that man fills his life with wives and children. I'm gambling that even now, I can find something else to fill those empty days. Which is where your need of a companion and my needs collide. I'm willing to adventure with you if you'll have me. The alternative is quite scary. What's there to say? The people of Whiterun think my time here was a sham, that my standing among the poor gave me refuge in this foul pit. I admit, I too thought as much, and went so far as to tell those who supported my cause not to fret. I thought I'd live as the Jarl of the dungeon with all the food I could eat and all the ale I could drink. It wasn't so. The guards aren't beholden to some idealistic sense of honor. They just want to fatten their coin purse. A guard is only concerned with following the orders of the man who pays him, and I'm not referring to the Jarl. That's putting it a bit mildly. They beat me, starved me, and they gave me a health potion so they could beat me some more. When I refused to drink, they brought in a healer to restore me so that I'd survive another round of torture. It was a foul trick. The burns, the scars, none of it remained to show the horror of what I endured. I'm afraid I would have lost my sanity completely if not for the kind words of the man in the cell next door. Most of my stories center around beautiful lasses, and this is no different. This story happened shortly after I was released. I received a letter from a courier penned by one Delvin Mallory. With my bandit career finished, he wanted to know if I was interested in joining the Thieves Guild. I confess I wasn't, but I was curious. Upon arriving in Riften, I met a gorgeous blonde Nord by the name of Mjol. Her body was ripped with cords of muscle, but she was still a lady. I chatted with this tall drink of a woman, and learned she was far too righteous for one so filthy as I. Of course, that never stopped me before. Yet, even as we talked, I could sense the eyes of another watching me. Now, I'm used to the wandering eyes of ladies, but these were filled with malice. That night, I met Delvin outside the old Ratways. He put a blindfold on my head and led me to the Ragged Flagon. It's inside the guild that I met those eyes for the second time. Her name was Vex, and she said she had a job for me. Then she smiled. A rictus grin, so beautiful, yet so wicked. She never stopped smiling when she uttered the name of the mark. The name was Mjol. My heart was torn between these two women, the thief and the lioness. I yearned to have them both, yet it seemed I'd be forced to choose. According to Vex, Mjol was staying at a man named Aaron's house, some worthless cuckold who shadowed her around wherever she went. A visitor had informed Vex that a bejeweled ship made of solid gold was kept in the guest room where Mjol slept. If I stole the ship, I'd prove my worth to the guild, and to her. I did what I always did when faced with a difficult decision. I went to the tavern and took in the noise. It's the silence that I can't abide. Something didn't sit right. Mjol didn't seem like the type to purchase what amounts to a big gold boat, and Aaron, I've met men like him. Spineless, meek, and hopelessly in love. The kind of man who'd never let a lass sleep in a guest room, just as a lass would never sleep with him. When I broke into the house that night, my suspicions were confirmed. I bagged Aaron's golden ship and returned to the Flagon the next morning. But this tale has a sad ending. For while Vex was pleased and Mjol unsullied, in the end, neither would submit to my charms. And how about we go to the tavern and find some keen lasses? Telling stories always puts me in the mood. So does anything else. Goodbye.
My cousin's out fighting dragons, and what do I get? Guard duty. Until
well,
next
that's
time.
About all you're fit for.
Heading east, steer clear of Hilgrund's tomb. Thing about those old crypts, the dead having trouble staying that way.
Be glad you're here in the city, and not out in Riverwood. Those poor sods don't even have a wall.
Why are you looking at me like that? I've just been asked enough questions. I tend to keep my privacy. What about you? I bet you've had plenty of adventures. Maybe you need a partner, hmm? Fine. But if you change your mind, I'll be right here.